This episode of RP MMO Radio is brought to you by all our amazing and generous Patreon donors. Visit us at patreon.com/RP MMO Radio to help support the show. It is also brought to you by
In the beginning, there was nothing. A void to end all voids. And hark! A loading screen did appear, and a shining new logo, never seen before by human eyes. The gods of creation said unto thee, "Enter thy login name and password." And it was good. There was yet another loading screen, this one longer than the first. Thine anticipation doesn't groweth, and behold anew, thine character select. With infinite options and choice from thine thinnest and fair to thine muscled and busty, shades of skin of every color of the holy color wheel, and a multitude of styles of hair. But before the perfection is folly, and thou will never achieve it, for there is only one whom is most perfect. A character of such perfection, it will never be reached and recreated again. The first one, whose image many have tried to remake and recapture, but whom is always just out of reach. Woe, I say unto thee, create new. Let thine imagination flow, and create what will be, not what once was. Go forth and create. From the book of the Holy Role Player's Guide, Creation, Chapter 1, verse 1 through 4. For sale now from Crapco, wherever books aren't sold.
You're listening to RP MMO Radio.
Does internet porn know you're cheating on it?
Where entertainment and roleplay in MMORPGs have little hybrid mutant babies.
Make a note of this. This honor on you, this honor on your cow, this honor on your whole family.
And now, here's your hosts, Ashen Phoenix, Civ, Jazz, Strafe, and Yunfei.
Everybody off. We need to go on a quick adventure.
Hello, role players, and welcome to RP MMO Radio, episode 92, Character Creation. We're going to do something new and different, and hopefully not entirely horrible. It translates well into podcast and live form. I, of course, am your host, Ashen Phoenix, and with me tonight is the full crew, Jazz, Sib, Strafe, and Yunfei. How everybody doing?
Hello. Howdy.
And maybe Luke and Delir on guest.
The holiest of holies. Yes.
And Tuna. Tuna's here too.
Up, and the tuna. Oops.
Yeah.
Mike's gonna try and fall out of my stand there. Get in there, you piece of shit. So everybody have a great week. Wonderful week. Fantastic. Why is it so hard being grown up? It was so much cooler when I was 5. So how'd your weeks go?
Adulting sucks.
Well, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Oklahoma like soup?
Well, because unfortunately, the devil made them do it. It's the devil.
It's like soup all the time.
It really is. Yeah, everyone's always like, "Oh, the humidity, it's not so bad." Never lived in Oklahoma, have you? Yeah, there's different. Like the Texas humidity is different than the Oklahoma humidity. They're both bad, but in different ways. It's a strange thing. Like when I visited California, because I lived in California, we went out there for a funeral, because that's always fun. But we buried my grandparents at sea, not like alive. They had passed away and were ashes. We weren't actually just like, I'm sorry, Grandma, right over the rail. But
so glad you clarified that for
right,
us, boss.
just to be sure. Though technically they were never seen again. That is actually true. But we went to the shops there, and I think it was Ventura Beach, and the guy in the shop is like, "Oh, I'm so sorry for the humidity today. It's so awful. I'm sorry you had to visit when it was so bad." It's 72 degrees, you fuckwit, and
because that dude totally had control of it, right?
Right. Well, and it's like, but we were like, this isn't humid. Oh no, this is really bad today. I can really feel it. It's like we were like, my mom looked and looked at each other and like, nah, dude, no, this isn't humid. This is beach weather. This is fine. This is fantastic. If we had this every day of the week in Oklahoma, the state would be busting at the seams. There's just no way. But no, that you couldn't. He was all put out that we didn't think that his humidity was proper humidity. It was like we personally assaulted his senses somehow and his feelings.
It's okay. He just lives in that small bubble of California. You can't understand the humidity level in Houston or Oklahoma. For that
clearly, he never left the state because, and I know it's different everywhere. I've heard Florida humidity is just awful.
Florida humidity, and I lived there, so I can tell you.
Okay.
And I've lived in Iowa.
Now going to our Florida humidity expert, Jazz.
But Jazz, was it South Florida? Because that was brutal down there.
I'll tell you that I went through some humidity when I lived in Iowa, of course, and I thought I thought Florida couldn't possibly be as bad. But let me explain the difference between the water index and humidity. And while that is the same thing in Iowa, in Florida, it is not. It is not. It was awful. We swam to work. I had never experienced the level of humidity, and I adjusted to it. And I didn't even have AC in my house most of the time. I got used to it, and I like it hot, so I was fine, except for a couple of days in August when I actually ran my AC while I was not home, so that I would not come home to a tin can on fire. But yeah, no, Florida, and I'm told New Orleans. In anything along the Gulf there, and I'm sure Houston is one of them, the air gets
you can taste
liquid.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can even breathe. It's hard to breathe. When I would go I worked in a big corporate building, and I swear they kept it at 50 degrees.
The lead artist that I work with, Jazz, summed it up best when he said, "Man, when it gets bad here in Houston, it's like the mouth of the dog," and he was not kidding.
No, he not. Yeah, I would walk out from 50 degrees in that place, and I would walk out into it so hot and humid, and it would just take my breath away. I would have to walk back inside for a minute.
You feel like you're breathing. Like it's like if you put your mouth over a dehumidifier that was not the new ones that are like, oh, it evaporates the air with sound waves. No, the old ones that, like when we were kids, that when you got out of bed because you were sick and you forgot it was there and you stepped on it, it burnt the bottom of your foot because we were just, you just get over it. Like, it'd be like if you put your mouth directly over that.
Yeah,
and then
it was just suck the air right out of your lungs. It was amazing.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager there, Jazz, I used to say to my buddy there, I said, "Hey, man, I need my land back so I can get out of this slimy mud hole." Of which he'd quote Yoda and say, "Slimy mud hole, my home this is." And I'm like, "You can have the swamp."
Yeah, you can keep your home. Go fuck yourself.
I had never sweat in Iowa like I did in Florida. I would get, glisten, and that was my sweat. I don't really sweat like a lot of people do. I get this sheen of water and slime on my skin, but that's it, and it washes off and you're fine. I was driving in that nonsense coming home from work one day, and I looked in the mirror and scared myself because I had these giant pockets of water on my face and I didn't know what they
beads.
were.
Yes,
and I'd never sweat like that. That
today,
is something.
Out here in Oklahoma, it can get like that. Like today, there was no wind, and if there's no wind to move that air around, it feels like that. So I had under boob sweat today on my shirt. Every time I would get out for a package, there'd be a line under my boobies.
Bro,
just where the sweat. It's not like there was. It's not like they hang over or anything. It's just there's so much sweat.
Now
So-
imagine having boobs.
Right, exactly. Ladies, I feel you. I feel for you.
Yeah.
I really do. As one man working on it to another woman that already was born with it, I apologize. It was not a well thought out design. So speaking of well thought out designs, before we get to what we've been doing, if anything, on roleplay this week, we're gonna do a little something different tonight. We're gonna go over a game that isn't out yet and create characters from it. We're gonna pick Pantheon. So if you want to play along at home, kind of picked it because it's like it's one of the few that's out there. There's a few others that are out there. Was it Defend the Night that Scribbles works on, but it's still a long way out, and they're still getting stuff down. And there's a lot of lore, at least with Pantheon, so it's kind of why we picked it, even though it's not really even in. I think it's only in alpha, internal alpha right now.
Still, it's never getting out of alpha.
Yeah. But,
and it's not a roleplay game that will probably ever have roleplay.
Right,
and
we may never. I think I know I'll play it just because it's kind of what I do. I like to try these things out at the very least and see, because I like throwing my money away. EverQuest Next, I'm looking at you for things that really don't really come out or in a proper way. Vanguard, I'm looking at you. WildStar, just. I mean, not that I have any like examples of that per se, at all.
It's definitely an attractive looking MMO because it looks like EQ1 or gives me those nostalgia feels.
Yeah, and it's to answer your question, Great Whoopdini, it's Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen. It's an MMO that's going to come out. It's done by I forget his fucking name, but the guy that did the original EverQuest and did Vanguard Online.
Smedley?
No, not Smedley. Smedley came in after the fact. It was the original creator.
Yeah, that other guy.
Back when it was Variant. I want to say Grant Morrison, but that's a writer for X-Men. So.
Well, here we go. I'll just read the first little caption on there.
Brad McQuaid. That's it. Read it.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. It says Pantheon: Rise of the Fallen takes place on the high fantasy world of Terminus. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
That's correct.
Terminus.
Yeah.
A widely diverse land formed from fragments of many different realms and times, bringing with them their unique civilizations and deities. Explore long-lost realms as their people and cultures vie for power and form alliances, struggling to gain a foothold in an unfamiliar world. Uncover civilizations and awe-inspiring locales that offer incredible adventures for you and your friends to experience. Enter a world where the environment itself tells the story and where the content is always king. That's the first paragraph of the lore.
Now, how much?
In other words,
happens?
if gods decide to play practical joke, throw a couple worlds together, smash them together, and make everybody duke it out, right?
That's right. Two men
That's
enter.
basically
one
it right
man
there.
leaves.
Yep.
Yeah.
Whoop. That's you know about as much as I do right now because we were told not to look at this till this right now.
Yeah,
I'm like,
we kind of I glanced over some of it, but yeah. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you've not looked into it, I mean, I would say with any MMO these days, check your expectations at the door. You'll be less disappointed when you actually see the game. Very few of them lately have been like, "Wow, that's everything you promised us."
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, like even the big AAAs didn't, Final Fantasy.
When
14,
this all came out, and this
ESO.
webpage has been around for a while, but when it came out, I was in love with this game until what's his face opened up his big maw
Brad McQuaid
and started talking about how role players are pathetic, and this game will not pander to them in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. So
and he can kiss my entire ass. So
Yeah.
that was the end of that. But I was really excited about it until then.
And maybe and maybe investors will be like, "Hey, Brad, shut the fuck up and do it anyway." But yeah,
On
we'll see.
Ash and F, what you said about expectations, perfect example. You remember SWG, how you could go put a player city in the world and like that was that part in Naboo and no one else could take it from you?
Yep.
When they announced EQ2 and said they would have individual housing and communities,
Oh, yeah.
I immediately thought they were going to build off what they learned in SWG. Instead,
Nope.
we got the instant
insane.
door, and I was like,
Yep.
man,
Yep, that one tiny room in an inn in the V starter zone held hundreds and thousands of little tiny other rooms behind it, all through the same door. But all right, well, we'll get to that here soon. So first, let's see what we've been playing or role playing. Anybody? I know it was pretty I don't know. I barely think I even logged into Star Wars this week. I think
I didn't get a chance to log into Star
Yeah.
Wars because Wednesday morning my son went into the ER and I did not
Oh
come
no.
home until Friday. So I didn't sleep that whole time. So then I went to bed Friday night
Mhm.
and I got some sleep. But yeah, so that blew a hole in. I mean, Tuesday we had role play
Yeah, it's your
for in ESO for the poetry night, and that was fun. But that was really it.
yeah.
So I honestly did not get to role play it all this
she
week.
fibs. She fibs epically. She led an
am not.
expedition down into those same ruins with a collection of folks, Rufus
Oh
included.
God, I forgot all about that. See what sleep deprivation does to you kids? You're right. We did do that.
Carry on, Jazz. My check. I'm waiting for my check later.
We did. We did go back to the place where they had found Sial to investigate again and to look for certain things that they might have missed. So it was fun because we got to go back through some of my old notes and see what they discovered, and they did discover some things. So that was cool. And they're a little deeper into the story. And then Rufus got found that he was there, and there was some conversation with Rufus. So it was fun. It just, it ended with a lot still up in the air because we still don't know very much.
Right.
But we do know that there's more going on here than originally appeared for Sial, because I think most people assumed that this story was the same as his story.
Yeah.
Strayface. And it's not. It's a different story arc that they cross paths in a couple places because they are co-involved. But and I do not know, and I can't tell you. I wouldn't know because Strafe hasn't actually filled me in on everything. But I don't know how deeply he's going to have his character involved in this side of it at all. So
That would be telling. But yes, it was a completely new story, which added flavor to both. So it makes both role plays great.
So it was something that I had almost abandoned because I didn't think anybody would go back to find out any of this stuff. So while it had been in my mind to do this and had been part of the notes that I abandoned, you remember I said that? I figured they weren't going to have time, so I cut a lot of it out, and we went back, and I got to include it. So that was cool. I was really happy about that.
Yeah.
Good. That's good because kind of when you put all the work into it, it's kind of hard to let it go.
It is. It was just like sigh. Well, it'll come out another time. I mean, I had no doubt that eventually it would come out with Sial, but I was really surprised. And again, it was Romeo that kind of pushed for it and was interested in learning more.
Yeah.
He is totally invested. It's pretty cool.
He is. It's really cool.
He's
It's
gone
really
balls
nice.
deep in this, hasn't he?
It recharges my batteries as well. I look at this, I'm like, dude, this is pretty excellent.
Because it is. It's a deep story. It's far and, deep and wide. And he's just kind of thrown himself into it. And he's guessed a lot of stuff that I didn't think anybody would get. He nailed it right away. And I was just like, wow, go Romeo. You're good at this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was an interesting thing because he's been right there going poke, poke, poke on things that I didn't think anybody would even notice at all.
Yeah.
Although his character gets very, very down on himself because he can't get everything right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And when you're stabbing in the dark, dude, you're not always going to get it right.
Right.
But I am blown away that he has managed to get as much right as he has, because I didn't give him any clues for some of this stuff. He just reached out into the dark and went, what about this, poke?
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I think that he got that no one else even thought of, I don't think, was that, and I had put this in the storyline and I didn't think anybody, how we all put our own little kind of headcanon in there that we don't necessarily will never ever get out.
Right.
I had put in there for myself, the reason that she had included the raven that she carved was there was a plan to it. There was a reason she did that. She had placed warding on her house where she was at, that if the raven was destroyed, it was all tied into the raven and Nocturnal's protections. And the raven was the switch. And when the raven was destroyed by Nocturnal, because they were holding the raven and thinking about it, and Raven, she got pissed that her story was being told or something along those lines. And so she destroyed the raven, right?
Mhm.
Because she didn't want them poking around in this mess. And when she did that, she turned off the ward so they could find Cial. And Cial had planned on that. But I didn't tell anybody that. I didn't even tell Strafe that. And he guessed it. And I was just like, wow, okay. Somewhere he's got a nest in my head, I think. A little creepy.
You did it to yourself, Jazz.
I know. I didn't think anybody would get that little nuance that the raven was important. And he was like, what if the raven was the switch and the wards were tied to the raven? So when Nocturnal destroyed the raven, she turned off the wards so we could find her. You should have seen my face on this side of the computer. Because I was just like, my mouth was just open. I was
the guy's a D&D player. I mean, he's...
Yeah, that's true. And so am I. I'm an old D&D player. And a lot of the stuff that I do comes from that. But still, it was still an impressive move. And he doesn't listen to the show, I don't think. But I just, if I wanted to reach there and just give him a hug. I was like, wow.
He doesn't listen? Yeah, fuck that guy. Never mind.
He comes across as being kind of dense and stubborn on top of it. And then his character can be brilliant. And it's really just cool. So I have to say I've been pleasantly surprised by Romeo and his capacity for really deep and intriguing roleplay. I'm pleased.
Good.
Yeah. It's always good
nice
to
to know there's people out there.
Yeah, there are people out there. And it's not just about ERP. There's actual people out there who are like, ooh, let's get into the guts of this thing. You know, crawl in. Yeah. And I'm really pleased about that.
Get your own.
He's also thrown full hardy into the everyone is pretending to work for, or who is working for Straight-Face character's bad guy. It's really kind of funny because he sees it everywhere, and it's not always.
The dude is paranoid, and since he's lost his little plaything, he is really like Super Detective Romeo lately.
Yep, and it's been funny because he's been like, that wasn't Trathalis, that was jail. And he's masquerading and sending this letter. No, he's not, honey. Really, it's
he's looking for shadows everywhere.
Where were you on the night of the 14th?
Yeah, he's just twitchy about it. It's really cool. I really like that he's kind of thrown himself fully into the story.
Yeah.
And he asked me OC about something. I was like, dude, I don't know. He says, you don't know? No, that's his story. I am playing along with you guys. I am plugging blind. I do not know shit.
Yeah, it's like, don't come to me. You can't,
because he was like, how did, so obviously and I was like, no, I don't, actually. See, this is Cial's visions. It has absolutely, really very little to do with Strafe's storyline.
Mm-hmm.
It's all linked into her own, and the visions that she's been getting is this creature's, like the Hist sort of, trying to communicate with her and warn her about what it thinks, and it doesn't necessarily know the truth.
That's the great thing, because where her character's tied into the other like my story, it's all in the past. It's all past stuff, and Cial stuff is all present. So it's you have two different things going in motion at the same time, and it's pretty fun.
It is. It has been a lot of fun because I don't know, because we decided it would be more fun if I really didn't know the whole story.
Yeah.
She requested not to know, because I gave her the option. She's like, I don't want to know. I like these surprises. I was like, okay.
Because I hate surprises, but in roleplay,
when you know out of character, you have to make
it's too easy to make that jump and say, I know.
Yeah.
So it just keeps me honest too.
Yeah, it really is a lot. And it's more enjoyable not knowing, it's like knowing, how the Harry Potter series ends, when you're just starting out the very first book. It's I mean, you still get the the fun of the journey, but there's a little bit lost in. There's
something missing when you do it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Faux shizzle. I can say that because I'm a rapper.
No, you're not.
Are you going to the next role player?
Was there any?
It was Rufus.
I mean, it's. Nah, I think we're good.
This one shall remember your lack of yarn ball.
All right, Straface, it's that you tie in with that, and I think you're probably the only other one that did any this week. It's kind of by default.
The Rufus, you know, he knew that they would be back. So he lurked himself back to that temple. He sniffed around here, poked around there, and sure enough, the patience, it paid off. Because sure enough, who was to walk through the ruins? Was old Boss Kia and her merry band. Most of them were nice, but they were not so nice in putting the Sia in danger. So he watched them a little while, skulked from ruin to ruin. They poked around, oohing and ahhing over stupid rocks. This one has no time for stupid rocks, but he saw the perfect opportunity to pounce when Boss Kia walked up the stairs. And when she reached the top, the summit, this one battle rolled right to her face with a grin and a dance. You should see her face. It was like Joan and Jode were laughing somewhere on the horizon. If this Khajiit could guess, she near jumped out of her skin, jumped back into it, and grew pale all at the same time. There was something about swearing and this and that, but this one did not care. They asked this one questions, this one answered when he wanted to. The Romeo, he is the quite dubious. This one thinks he is the loose cannon. He does not trust this one. This one cannot understand why. He's just worried about the Sia. They went on and on about this dagger to kill the other boss, which this one does not think is very bright either, since, you know, we're all trying to save the Sia. But that did not matter. They found an old gnarly history. It smelled wrong. This one told them as much, but they did not believe this one. They had to go poke around for themselves. And when they did, the tree started attacking him. This one laughed and danced, told you it smelled off, but you did not believe this one. The Romeo gave this one the dirtiest of looks. He does not trust this one, like I said. This is okay. And this is not to worry. He is not as sneaky as this one. Perhaps I will play a trick on him later with a yarn ball. But for now, I must go visit my various bosses. Even Boss Caves was there. Something about my infernal dancing. This one loves to make him twitch. But information to tell, information to share. Must find where they're keeping Sia. Until next time, the hunt continues. The end!
There we go. What about you, Yunfei? You get anything done this week?
I've been writing a lot.
Really?
But nothing. Yeah, nothing
That's
I can
cool.
really share yet, though.
Yeah.
But I've also been watching a YouTuber play Sinking City.
Yeah, I want to get that.
It's amazing so far, and like if I had any money at all, I would pick it up. But I'm Poe, so I watch stuff on YouTube. But yeah, it's really cool so far, and the guy that's playing plays a lot like I do, where you check every corner and every crack in the wall.
Yeah, no, that's actually one of the ones on my list. I've seen the combat might be a little janky, but despite its bugs and glitches, it's actually people really seem to enjoy it, and it's one of those ones that I was really looking forward to. So it's good to see that it. I don't need a perfect game; it just needs to be fun.
Yeah,
have a good narrative, that kind of stuff.
It's better than the Call of Cthulhu game that I played.
Yeah, that one. Oof.
That was just hot garbage.
Yeah, I wanted to get that one, and then I started seeing some videos of it, and like, it's my money and time are worth more than that. So, now I think this one I'll probably have to get on the computer, and I could stream it too. Because that's something I want to try to do.
Did someone say Call of Cthulhu special? Gormal here with the fried tentacle stew. You should come on down to Diaphia's Kill and Grill It. No, wait. Hey, your security. Oh, must run away.
Mind Flare Calamari.
Dude, who let that guy in? Like, we did not have an ad spot. I don't know how he got in here, boss. No. I did lock the door, but yeah.
It's like the Kool-Aid man. It comes when you least expect it.
It's those keywords.
Or only when you want, Kool-Aid.
Or you don't. He's still busting on the wall.
It's kind of when the Kool-Aid man comes. It's like, some orange juice, some purple stuff. Oh, hey, Sunny D. That kind of thing, yeah. So, let's see. Still playing Bloodstain, Symphony of the Night. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I like it. Kill the giant puppy head.
Really?
Well, it's a weird game. Like when I
That
see
GIF
it,
made me laugh.
yeah. What is that? Like you think that's it's like a terrier?
It's like a Shih Tzu or something.
A Scotty dog kind of a thing. But Jez, it's just the head, and that head is as tall as like a person and a half, and it like just lunges at you, and it's not like it's not like a bloody stump thing. It's actually adorably cute, and I feel bad killing it every time it pops up. But it's just a demon. It's a demon puppy head. And then there's a cat, and it looks like it's just a normal cat.
Y'all play the strangest games, I swear.
I'm going to go on a limb and say...
My husband does too. I'm just like, he'll start going off about some game. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, have fun
everything
with that.
else is like demons and dragons and stuff. But for some reason, the puppy head and the kitty and the cat is great because it can do one of two things to you, Jess. One of two things. It'll make a pillar of fire under you that will shoot up. Or if you get too close, it'll just swat at you like an asshole cat typically would.
I'm going to go on a limb and think this is an Asian game, right?
It's from Iga. He's one of the original co-creators of the Castlevania series.
Okay,
and it's like Castlevania. It's a spiritual successor to Castlevania Symphony of Night. And when I say that, typically that sucks. Except he actually did it. It actually feels like those old good Castlevania games from that time period. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, I honestly, dude, given your aesthetic for that for the Dracula and Castlevania stuff, you would probably enjoy it.
Yes. And I can already hear the music in my head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got great music and the visuals. The visuals are friggin' awesome. And it's actually, for a Kickstarter game, it was surprisingly well done. It's actually voice acted and all that stuff, which I was surprised. I figured I'd be reading page after page of garbage, but no, the whole thing's voice acted. So, yeah, it's got one vampire in it that's totally a la carte, but isn't a la carte, but it's totally a la carte.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, and you can apparently saw that you can fight him at one point too, but you have to get like 100% of the map or something like that.
He's like a secret boss or something.
Yeah, and more difficult than the final boss. He's basically like the emerald. He's like the ruby and emerald. Whatchamacallits from Final Fantasy 14 or 7. What were those? The that Strophe. What are those damn things called? The big ones. Weapons. The ruby and emerald weapons. Omega weapon. That kind of stuff. That's what.
Or like.
Is.
Oh, you're talking about Final Fantasy. Sorry, my mind was somewhere else. Sorry, dude.
Right. But no, it's been fun. Just watched Chernobyl again with Sib. It's really that good of a series. I watched it twice now in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Do you recommend it? I was thinking about it.
I mean, honestly, even for people, if you don't have HBO, I would almost say that show the $15 just to watch it's 5 episodes, about an hour piece, so it's about 5 hours. I totally dug it. I mean, just the way it was shot, the way the story is told, and the guy that created it did, I think it was 4 or 5 years of research down to, like, in some places down to the minute of how this stuff went down, and the characters involved are real people, but it's communist Soviet Russia. Everything they do is covering their own ass. And,
the Politburo and all the good. I saw something on Netflix about it. Maybe I should check it out.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's very well done, and especially knowing, this has happened in like April 26th, 1986 at 1:23 and 45 seconds. Not that I've paid attention or anything. Mostly it's also because it was lights up as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is when it actually happened. But all the choices and stuff that went into that, and then just the flat-out denial. They have the worst nuclear disaster in the history of the world. They came within literally days of nearly all of that, thousands of miles and kilometers of Russia and the Europe just being completely almost unlivable. And literally within days, we came within days of that. And I never realized how bad it was. But the way it tells the story and pieces everything together, and the characters are all real people, and it's down to the only one that they admitted in the thing is there's one female scientist, and she didn't actually exist, but she's the amalgamation of the hundreds or thousands of scientists that helped do that. And Russia had actually quite a few female scientists even in the 80s, so they just kind of pushed all of those guys into one character to help.
This has been the RP MMO Radio show review by Ashen Phoenix.
It's just so I watched it with Sib, and knowing what we know of radiation today, which 86 it was nuclear war and all that, but nobody really knew a lot about radiation. So you watch these people pick up a giant chunk of graphite that was literally surrounding the uranium control rods, and these firefighters that blew out of the reactor. He just picks it up with his bare hands, with a glove. And
life is cheap in Soviet Russia, bro.
And 5 minutes later, he's on the ground and his hand is already blistering, and they're basically already dead just by being there.
It was crazy.
Yeah, but it was just so good. So good. Highly, 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 highly recommended. Especially, there's something about, I've always loved nuclear stuff myself. I've been fascinated with it, but just very well done. So that's kind of what we did this week, along with, real life stuff. But yeah, kind of a slow week. Just real life kind of took all the fun out of just stuff in general.
It definitely was not a fun week for anybody, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, not at all. So, with that, I guess we could take a look at Pantheon here and get into it. So what we're going to do, some of us, not naming names, Jazz, may have already looked into some of this long before this idea came to us and created 8 characters.
8.
8, yeah, because she's an underachiever. She only did 8. I mean, what do you even do with your time? I mean, you only did 8 of them like months and months ago.
Years in advance. This was 3 years ago when it first was announced, and they got the webpage up, and they had just the bare necessities that you see now. They haven't really done much with their website. Most of it was already there 3 years ago.
Yeah, it does seem like I was looking through the lore, and it looks like they've actually added quite a bit of that, at least.
No, not really. Not for
at least from when I last looked at it.
When I checked it originally, it was bare bones, and then about 6 months later, they added a bunch of lore, and they haven't really done it. They've tweaked it, but a line here, a line there. But I used to go check on it all the time because I really was excited about this game at first.
Yeah, because I didn't even realize they'd already had the 3 ages of history: the age of seclusion, age of chaos, and this is. I got a kick out of this because given our current political everything right now, the current age the game will come out is in the frail age.
Which is kind of funny.
Which is a little... I got a kick out of that. I don't know why. Maybe, yeah, because everybody's so sensitive about everything now. But I got a kick out of that one. But no, there's at least a decent amount of lore. And one of the challenges too with this is going to be that it like I think I said earlier, it's one of those games where not every race can be every class. So if you want to play something that's like a monk, you're stuck with all of 4 out of the how many races did they have? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they got 9 different races. I guess we should probably go over the different races and see who everyone... Although I know just glancing at it, everyone kind of like, ooh, I like that one. So they've got, let's see here. They got 9 races. They got Captain Blueskin with his pointy rock head, which are the... I'm probably going to butcher some of these. The Archai?
I believe is how they pronounced it in the podcast.
Maybe Archai. Okay, that sounds right. Then Dwarf. Which, funny enough, Dwarf is the oldest race in this, apparently. Like, they're the first race. Which is...
That's right, because Bognar went there on Drunken Adventure. Seated his people.
Yeah, also blue.
Yeah.
And going with the theme of blue, there's the Darkmere, which apparently are mermaid people from another planet, I suppose.
Also blue.
Also blue.
Also blue, yeah.
Finally, 4th one in, not blue. Something no one has probably heard of. They are called the Ogres. Ogres. Yeah. Oh, Ogres. Yeah, okay. So
that would be Ogre, my man.
Ogres. And then there's some pasty-ass looking Jaime Lannister bullshit. I guess they're called humans.
That is the skinniest dude I've
He
ever
is.
seen.
Look at that waist.
Look at that waist.
Yeah. So good money. There's definitely like a garter belt, or is it? What's the thing? What's the thing that cinches the middle? I'm not really.
Corset.
Corset.
Either that or he's starving.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Either they're not feeding their army, or this guy is fabulous.
Clearly, his name is Starving Marvin from
right.
Shire of Hungerford.
Yeah, he is definitely petite. Wide shoulders. He's got great shoulders. He's like from the nipples up, he is very manly, and then down
from the nipples.
If you actually covered the top part of his chest and down, you actually could be a woman.
Yeah. Very shapely.
He does have a very shape. Yeah,
He's
he does.
very-
From the waist up, he's a guy.
He has
He's got an hourglass figure.
I will say this guy has a lot of proposals. He has great birthing hips and he has a lot of options. And then next up is one that I actually don't want to like, but she's adorable. Halflings.
Yes, I have one. I made one of those too. But
adore her.
They're just adorable.
But they're
I love
not.
The way
They don't look like. The reason I hate halflings is because they're hideous deformities in the face of God and should not exist on this earth. But this one looks cute. She's just like normal size or normal proportion, just tiny and with really colorful hair, and she doesn't have fuzzy toes. And
I was going to say she's got shoes on, so we don't know if she's got fuzzy toes or
not.
No. Could you dare say it's a throwback to the Kinder from Dragonland?
It does kind of look like it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was. What is? I have no idea what that is.
Oh, you'd like those.
They would be halflings, except they look just like these ones in Pantheon. So.
Okay, good. Yeah. See, and that's I just don't like the way halflings is. I don't like halflings. One, they're annoying. In Lord of the Rings, they basically ruined the entire story. I'm just putting that out there. It just ruined it. The Frodo guy was okay, but Merry and Pippin fucking just chunked them into that pit that they knocked that bucket into in the Mines of Mordor. Just chuck their fucking asses in there. Call it good. Trip them as you're running.
Oh, you mean Moria?
Moria. What did I say? Morden?
You said Mordor.
Mordor? Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah, they could have jumped in that lava pit too.
Yeah, just fuck those guys. But these halflings look they kind of remind me of they're like the wood elf class almost, only tiny and compact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this will be the race a lot of the creepy anime guys play girls is.
Yeah, totally. They'll be everywhere.
Oh yeah.
They'll be everywhere.
Damn it. I'm not a creepy anime guy.
But yeah, no lie, they will definitely be. Yeah.
Yeah. Then of course there is the super hot elf chick.
Also blue.
Also
blue. They've got this blue thing going on.
They've definitely got their blue filter going.
He looks like a oxygen-deprived Liv Tyler, right?
Purple, not blue.
Does Liv Tyler? Yes, that's who it looks like.
It does look like Liv Tyler. Yes. Oh yeah.
I would almost bet you that was probably the model that the artist was going off of.
That's just, it's too coincidental. It looks
just really does look like her, but with bluish purple. Yeah, and it probably depends on the monitor, but yeah, it's a bluish purplish. It's definitely not like white colored or very porcelain skinned look. But she's super hot. She's got a lot of roses apparently in her dress, which I imagine is very difficult to keep going in your stuff. And then there's the gnomes. I don't know what they look like robots.
They're like the mecha gnomes.
Yeah, it's like they've gone completely. I haven't looked into why they look like that. Apparently they have a floating keep. I don't know. Oh, they come from a rare planet known as the Sun World, formed from the inside out. So apparently they're all from different worlds. And then last but not least is the Scar, which looks about exactly as their name would imply. Also, again, with the extremely tapered waist on a dude. I mean...
Yeah, he looks like he needs a couple hamburgers, because, look at those ribs.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, for those my comic book nerds out there, remember Rob Liefeld, the guy that created, Cable, and didn't like
Jesus.
feet, but his women would have, like, their back was so far backwards that their spine would have to break in two in their waist. If you, like, pinched it, they would probably it'd be like snapping a toothpick and just break in half. That's kind of what this guy looks like, except he's also got a face full of... His teeth are exposed. He has no lips.
It looks like the horrible pairing of, like, an Ixar and, like, one of those Jim Hadar dudes from DS9.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a good thing.
Yep, that is a really good comparison right there. Yep.
They're clearly going to be the warrior race. Oh, and they've also, if you click on the full body, they've got backward legs, the knee bends backwards, and then from.
I will revise my statement. They are the horrible crossbreeding of Ixars and elites from Halo.
There you go. Yeah, but I'm gonna guess they're the. Let's see here. If there was an opposite to any good thing in every race, the Scar would stand alone in the extreme. See, called it. Sometimes you can judge a book by its cover art.
Clearly.
Art. Yeah. So those are the 9 races. And, of course, it does have classes, which do limit what race can be what. Let's see. We've got the typical stuff. Cleric, Paladin, Warrior, Dire Lord, which... is kind of
that's Shadow Knight.
Yeah, Shadow Knight.
I'm sorry. That's just like they didn't even try to hide that one.
Yeah, they
just read about it. It's like it's a Shadow Knight.
It's a Shadow Knight. Yeah, at least they came up with a different name.
Well, I probably had to for Trace.
Right. Yeah, and then Ranger, Rogue, Monk, Summoner, Enchanter, Wizard, Druid, and Shaman. Which I am strangely Shaman can't be. It doesn't have dwarves on it, which seems like a missed opportunity. Shamans are always dwarves.
And I will say, based off what we know from EQ1, don't play the Ranger. You're just gonna die.
Yeah, Ranger.
Be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, it looks like ogres are the most limited. There's only 4 classes they can play.
Oh, really?
That's what there's a chart.
Again, just like EQ1.
Oh, where's the chart at?
I'll put
I was gonna say because there's also 2 additional classes.
Oh, are there?
That are, I guess, stretch goals. There's a bard and a necromancer.
Oh, bard and necromancer.
Yeah, I posted in that thing.
I've never heard of those before.
But if you click on the race, like if you go to like the gnome race and it says learn more, and then underneath, right there on the left side, there's like a chart that says what you can and cannot use.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, the ogre, you only have 4 options.
Yeah, humans can be, no surprise,
everything.
Humans can be everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Dark Mirror are pretty much...
everything but Paladin, Ranger, and Shaman. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for posting that. I was about to do that.
Yeah, that's very handy.
Yeah.
And
I've been sitting here looking at it since I was allowed to actually look. I was like, what do I want to be?
And I'm pretty sure that Bard and I'm pretty sure they've hit their stretch goals at this point. Bard and Necromancer.
I knew I saw a Bard somewhere.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah, it's just not on there yet. So.
Yeah, because whenever I was looking at the classes on the website, I didn't see Bard on there, and I knew Uni had mentioned Bard, and I was like, I don't see it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's probably where I was looking.
I actually just looked at their pledge stuff too, and they're really going in there for it. So you got a 50 to 150, 200 to 500, $1,000 plus. Let's see. Goes. I thought I saw something even higher. Oh yeah, there, and then there's the 3,000, 10,000.
Yeah, who's going to give that kind of money and has
at that point you're just an investor, aren't you?
Yeah.
But hey, Jazz, the 10,000 comes with a lifetime game subscription. So
how nice!
But only for a paltry $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, I get that right here in my pocket.
Yeah. So much nope.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that. Not doing that again. Sorry.
I might actually throw the $50 at it just because it gets you the full game and beta testing, but mostly just
I could do the 50
to try it out. And I do actually think this one will come out. It's just a matter of
eventually.
When.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're here for. I mean, if you want to look more at this game, go for it. Really, we picked this one because I couldn't really think of a lot of others that are at least have enough lore that you could create characters off of. So a lot of it, we just wanted to kind of go through the creative process, and mostly we're just going to fuck around for the next hour trying to come up with stuff and talking about a game as we learn it, because that's pretty much how all of this stuff happens. A lot of times you'll learn of the game before it comes out, and especially when you first want to get into it. A lot of people, I think all of us in a new game, when ESO, Star Wars, we had our characters pretty much picked out and what we wanted to do beforehand. It's just...
Yep.
Because we have a lot of free time, apparently.
I'm going to add in that back when I was in high school, the EverQuest 1 site looked strangely familiar to all this, and we were like picking out, oh, dude, it'd be cool if you could be an ogre monk, because they didn't have what you could be then. You just had the races and classes, so we were like guessing.
Yeah. And it wasn't until, I think, because now it's actually, I mean, I kind of dig it. I don't like the... like what Black Desert does, where it's like a gender-locked thing per class. I'm not crazy about that, but I really don't mind the class in race locking.
I've never minded that.
Yeah, that one I don't mind.
It makes sense with what they can or can't do.
Yeah, but
ogres are simple. Maybe they can't figure out how to do anything before things. So
And the stuff they are is like Dire Lord, Druid, which actually that's a little Shaman and Warrior, and those make sense. Like them being a rogue is not typically something you would...
I can't picture an ogre being very sneaky.
Yeah, not exactly. So, but it's just I really don't like the Black Desert thing, because if you want to do a certain class, you have to pick a certain gender, and sometimes you want to play what you want to play, and having it literally gender locked, and a lot of characters tend to all look exactly the same. Like they just came out with a I forget what it's called, but Black Desert just came out with a new class, which is kind of a tiny, cute little pixie girl thing. But if you want to play the tiny, cute little pixie girl thing, you have to pick that brand new class, and that's the only way to play those. It's not my favorite way of doing it. So, who wants to try and... Because even though this was my idea, I really did not look that much into... I was only glancing over the lore a little bit when I realized, holy shit, there's a whole bunch more lore than I was last time I took a look. Last time I looked, there was like 2 paragraphs and a seagull was all they had on the site.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
They didn't have much for a while, and then it just bam showed up.
Yeah, but now on gnomes, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like 10 paragraphs of shit,
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to try and... Who's got an idea for something?
Let's check the list, and Jazz, you're at the top of the list.
Holy crap, is she really?
Yep.
Is she? Huh. Well, I mean, it works out.
So I wrote an entire story for my characters. Back in the day, I was ready for this game, man. I was ready. I was really pissed. I had to abandon it. But anyway.
Yeah, let's be honest. You're still gonna play it. You're gonna get it when it's finally announced and there's a beta.
I'll try it. I won't lie. No, yeah. I'll try it. I don't have a problem with that.
Whether we stick around or not.
I ain't gonna stick around if there's no role play and there's no role play.
Yeah.
If they're obviously, as he was claiming, they're going to be unfriendly and make absolutely no parcel for role play, then I won't
even
play.
The bare minimum of stuff. Yeah.
But I originally was gonna. I had one called Kikiri the Wild, which was going to be a halfling. But my main character was going to be Anna Elise, which was a human. And an assassin. Shock. Surprise. I know. I like playing scouts. I guess they're called rogues in this game.
Yeah, rogues.
So I'm not sure what you want me to say about her.
Well... Mostly it was supposed to be how you'd come up with it, but since you already did in advance,
right.
I don't know,
I roll. That's what I do. I write out all of the options, and then I roll dice, and that's how you choose who she's going to be.
Well, let's see what we got here.
I always laugh when it comes out exactly what I want, which is always funny. She is a retired rogue, however. She's 50, so she's not a young person.
Yeah.
I usually play pretty young people, but she's not. So she's 50. She's human. She's a former rogue. She's retired. She has kids, and she's going to run a guild. That's going to be my thing.
Yeah.
And she's got a nice backstory, most of which will be headcanon.
Let's
I
see.
won't tell most people that stuff.
Go off. Let's see here too, because I figure what we'll do, we'll go when each one picks a race. I think Sib, you suggested this. At least since there's like a fucking page worth of stuff. At least the first paragraph of what like the humans are, according to this, like the first description, the elevator, the elevator, whatchamacallit thing.
Like on where it says like on the gnomes or.
Yeah, well, like
or on the humans.
Yeah, on the humans.
On the humans, you want me to read that first paragraph?
Yeah, go ahead and read the first one at least.
Okay.
That way we get an idea of what because every game the humans have different history. Every race has it's all different. So at least let's give everybody an idea of what the humans are like in this game.
They really didn't, in my opinion, stretch very much for humans.
No, they did not.
Sounds a whole lot like the lore for humans in Guild Wars 2.
Oh, yeah.
Almost exactly. It's really kind of funny. But anyway, true power speaks not a word, yet its presence is deafening. The city of Thronefast has been that presence for the humans for nearly 500 years, and to know their heights of power is to behold the capital, a breathtaking jewel in the light of dawn. The breadth of their influence is glimpsed in the majestic navy, unrivaled on the open waters, students and masters of nearly every art and discipline. Humans' middle-rung size and strength is perhaps a lone mediocrity, their oft flamboyant pride not withering before kings, ghouls, or dragons.
Yeah. So, yeah, typically what you'd expect from the
humans,
and they can be every class as well.
Yes.
Just remember, folks, as soon as those humans discover gunpowder, the rest of these mythological races, they're going to be gone. Carry on.
Do you think there's a game that actually gives more depth to humans? I mean,
no,
not typically.
I have not found a game yet that goes into any. I mean, they focus a lot on the alien races, and humans are just kind of
they're the central
middle ground.
Point. Yeah, they're the middle. It's kind of like that in
the
in
tough
most
and
sci-fi.
resilient humans who can do just about everything because they are so adaptable and strong, and they refuse to give in and die.
Yeah,
it's all the same.
They don't have.
drivel.
Yeah, whereas the other races, they typically have the specialties and this and that, or their affinity towards a certain type of magic. More powerful than they're more. It's like Star Trek. Humans were the base thing, and every other. Or even Star Wars, humans do everything, and then you go to alien planet, and the entire planet, look at Earth. We got black people and white people, Mexican and Chinese and Canadians, and then you go to an alien planet in Star Wars, and they're literally all the exact same thing. That like even the Twi'leks, the best they got is maybe different colors, and for them it means absolutely nothing, which is probably the way it should be. But they're all made slaves equally, so hey, equality. That's. I don't think that's what you're striving for.
Hey man, you got to have a pair of Twilight slave girls. I'm just saying. Boost imperial morale.
You're the worst.
Boost something.
Something got a boost. That was a Viagra joke.
I know, right?
But yeah, they typically.
It took the old guy to figure that out.
Humans are the baseline, and everything else is either on one side or the other of humans. That's almost even Final Fantasy does that. EverQuest does that. Lord of the Rings really does that. I mean, it's just how it works. Because I guess it's because some reason we can all identify with them.
Yeah.
Probably
so they don't bother to be real specific because they figure we can all identify with them because that's what we are.
Some more than others.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well,
I think EverQuest 1 today, humans were like kind of a jack of all trades. They were the newest race. They were the naive baby race. They were trying to expand beyond their means. And that's how they explained it in that. Yeah, but again, it was real loose.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, Jazz has. So you have, what was some of the headcanon you came up with that based off of the information that was available at the time, at least?
I came up with her story based on family and culture for that time period and race when she was being raised up. she's well, my headcanon is
Right.
complicated, as you know. She was found when she was like 8 years old, nearly drowned. They know nothing about her. She was sold to the Assassin's Guild or the Rogue Guild.
Right.
And they trained her and were pleased at how skilled she was. And she was raised up to do that. And then she retired after she had her son and decided, well, kids are about as weak as you can get. So we're going to stop before somebody figures that out and comes after mine. And she retired.
They are super squishy.
Yeah, they're super squishy and they make great targets. So she basically evaporated and went into hiding to raise her kids. And they will in game. They will just be very young.
Yeah. So you already have.
I already planned them out as possible later. You know, if the game sticks around a while, they may eventually be teenagers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I can play them then. But for right now, they will just be NPCs in the background.
The return of a lambshin, Mark, whoever her name will be.
Actually, yes, I made it kind of an Alamshin. Her name is oh gosh, can't even say her name. Erenanor. There we go. Erenanor. There we go.
I'm going to call her Nanu.
Nanu.
Means morning sun. I pulled a lot of it out of Elven dictionaries and then just kind of corrupted it into sounding cool.
That's That's Elven appropriation. I'm telling you.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, I also go into Google Translate and I pick a language and I do it that way. So
why did you decide to make her already retired instead of
I've played a lot of very young characters and I'm kind of tired of that because I'm not young.
Well, yeah, but even if she's not young, she could still not be, retired.
Because according to this lore, I mean, people don't live that long that are like that.
Well, that's why I'm just
so if I wanted to make someone who is going to work well with my life now, and having her being constantly running around killing people probably is for somebody that has more time to play than me. So making her older made more sense. Plus, and she's retired because as an older person, you slow down. And when you slow down as an assassin, you die.
Yeah.
So the moment she started slowing down, she wisely retired and said, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
So, when you start stumbling, you're going to die if you stay in that lifestyle. And she knew that. So she quit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what it's kind of. All right. So who wants to try something? Who's got something next? Let's see. Anybody? I'll take volunteers before I start picking out of the class.
Well, I did pretty much the day you pointed us to the page.
All right.
I'll go after you five.
Okay. All right. You're up.
Well, obviously I picked the halfling because, look at her.
Yeah, she's gorgeous.
Look at her. I love everything about her. She's tiny. I love her colors.
Her hair's friggin' long, too. It goes all the way down to her
hair hair's awesome.
Yeah.
Her hair is so awesome.
And it's all pointy at the top.
Yep. I'm terrible with names, so I would probably name her Allison, last name Chains. Because I would pick Bard, of course.
Oh, they come to snuff the rooster. Oh, yeah.
I guess, I would play her young because even though I'm an old lady, I love playing very young characters because I feel like I can kind of grow up with them in the game. Because generally when I start a new game, I only have a limited knowledge of the lore and stuff like that. So I like to learn things through the characters.
Yeah, you develop the knowledge as the player with the character as well. You do it in tandem.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Let's see what it says on... Do you want to read the halfling thing? Or do you got it up?
Sure.
Okay, go for it.
A refreshing blend of madness and mirth. Already sold. The halflings of Wild's End have a youthful exuberance that never dims and a resolute spirit that makes them undefeatable. Effortless stealth of a wolf and the devious charm of a child, there are few circumstances in which a halfling cannot work for the upper hand, especially in the trees of their home. Therefore, their reduced stature is an advantage, an unassuming and agile extension of their personalities and gifts, whether in danger, discourse, or dance. And I would also make her, if there's a height slider, absolutely bottom
Bottom is.
Should make her the tiniest of the tiny. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. They
drives
really
me crazy
sound
in
a lot
games.
like wood elves in a lot of ways too.
Kind of, yeah. The way when I read through this, they sound a little fey too.
Yeah, they do have that kind of wood elf or people of the forest kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
I believe the word you're looking for, boss, is whimsy.
Whimsy, yep.
No, I would never say that word.
Oh, Tuna, I'm sorry. I just punched my cat.
Oh,
sorry, baby.
Cat abuse live
yeah.
on the air. Wow.
Yeah. Got him a terrible kitty
moment. Get him, PETA. Get him. I mean, if you can pull yourself away from destroying animals that you claim to save.
But yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. I like playing characters. I don't know why exactly, but like I get weirded out if I'm playing a super tall character and everybody's shorter than me. And that might be because I'm 5'2" in real life.
I was gonna say there might be a real life component to that.
I don't know what to do if I were tall.
You'd bang your head on a lot of things.
Yeah.
You're definitely
that sounds like
fun sized.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
I have to say,
so read the Halfling lore. Did she read it already?
Yeah, she already read it.
Sorry, Sibs.
No, I was going to say, Razor's Edge in the Twitch chat said, I made a character for Pantheon on the now seeming dead site, and he put the link.
Yeah, PantheonRoleplay.com.
It was a human summoner and owned a tavern. Yeah, and I just went to the site, but I haven't registered or anything.
Yeah. At least without being registered, it looks like the last post was in July of 2018. No, December of 2018.
December.
I would say that it maybe did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if as long as the game's taking,
But there's still. I mean, it looks like it is still up. Somebody's added days to it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not completely dead.
Yeah,
it's just,
it does expire in 161 days.
Yeah.
So.
So either somebody added a lot or somebody actually has been keeping the site paid for.
That one seems like it might have been jumped the gun just because of how long these things tend to take these days.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if once it gets into a beta phase, I bet you that will kick up again.
I would hope so. I might have to go register for that.
Yeah. So yeah, Pantheon, was it PantheonRoleplay.com?
Yeah.
If you're looking into what's out there. I don't know if it's still being updated or not, or if they just added that and it just kind of fizzled out, or who knows.
You got any headcanon going on, Uni?
Yeah, that was my next question.
No, she'll probably just be a young musician that wants to experience the world and bring music to everybody.
Yeah,
preferably like rock and roll and stuff.
Some of that has to come, you got to see it from like what the cities will look like, and get a grasp of the world, which there's some stuff on YouTube but a lot of it seems kind of old as well. So it's not really, and seeing it versus playing in it with it right in front of your, on your monitor is a totally different experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay.
And I love that feeling of coming into this broad new place.
Yeah, it is always fun.
The video game world for the first time.
Yeah, especially if they've done a good job. And I think this one is using... I think they're using Unity, which is actually can be a pretty difficult thing to use, I've heard. I'm not a programmer or anything, but I've heard compared to Unity is a lot more difficult to make a big game in than something like... what's the Unreal or Unreal 4 and things like that. But I don't know. They seem to be doing okay. That's what the one they picked. So yeah, they've got some. So all right, Strafe, what did you have now? What were you looking at?
I was looking at the ogres. Give me a second to park my tune, and you'll have my full attention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You busted me. I was grinding Jedi XP. What can I say? Shameless plug, SWGEMU is still fun if you like the old days. Just saying. And Bounty Hunters are real. I got rolled the other day, so did my little brother. And I remembered why this game was so terrifying to be a Force user.
Yeah. Yeah, back before it was a class.
Hey, Steffe, I just DM'd you the ogre's little paragraphs. So if you want to read it off the Discord.
That's
You don't have to.
We just pause the whole show. It's okay.
Well, that way he doesn't have to go look it up.
I'm not talking to you. I don't mean you.
Hey.
You're good. You're good. I can't. For some reason.
Let me go next, real quick.
All right, go ahead, Sid.
All right, take it away.
You park somewhere.
You're quiet for like half a minute. Suddenly, it's all over.
Yeah, well, half a minute's 30 seconds of
I'm
dead
parked,
air.
boss. I'm parked. You know,
Okay.
Dead air.
Okay, take it over.
No, go, just go. I'm over it.
Good
Guys.
lordy.
One of you talk.
Now who's holding up the show?
Read straight
All right,
day.
forget it. I'm taking over. Fetchers.
Are you gonna read?
Yes, I had to tab up the freaking website.
You really need to get a dual monitor. You really
Within
need
their hulking presence and a culture that values the brutal skill of battle above refinements and leisure, the ogres of Broken Maw are perilously dismissed as primitive by the uninformed. Yet careful study would reveal a race that relishes the dance of warfare, tactics, and in whole resides an unmatched respect for valor and courage. Whether friend or foe, when calm, ogres are curious and considerate before action. Unseat their emotions, and their incomparable size wreaks unpredictable ends. This is the ogres, boys and girls.
So they're not big dummies, apparently.
They're not.
Yeah. They're just battle-y. And they've got great things like Gorak.
True. Apparently, their whole race was comprised of 7 different clans that had to be worked together because each clan had a runestone that pretty much said as long as they don't kill each other, they would be unsurpassed in combat.
Mm-hmm.
And the world they were on was so limited that they had to band together and like coexist in a small area. Once this world was careened into the other world, all the other crunchies and tasty people.
Yeah.
Those rule books were thrown out the window, and their most wise mage, I would dare say, gathered all from the smallest clan, gathered up all the runestones and unlocked just one, and became this devastating warlord who banded all the ogres together and literally marched across this planet and took over. The problem was every time he conquered somebody, the power was exacting a toll on his body to the point where he was slowly descending into madness. And then after the last conquest, he took the rest of the runes and vanished somewhere, leaving the ogre empire leaderless. And then infighting happened with generals, and literally everyone else banded together and kicked them back off their ill-gotten gains.
Yeah. Huh.
So now they're back into a rocky kind of area, and they're trying to reform and just exist again.
Yeah, kind of recover from their mad king, so to speak.
From their mad king, exactly. I was reading over him. I think I'm going to go with an ogre dire lord because it's the closest thing to Shadow Knight, and I had a blast doing an EQ1.
Yeah.
This is very reminiscent. And I think I'll name him Thronk Grundar.
Yeah, let's see.
He will be a warrior poet and a dirty, dirty Shadow Knight. I mean, Dire Lord. Dire Lord. There you go.
Yeah, and they say the Dire Lord is considered a myth by most. I always hate when classes do that. It's like, this is a class that's made by myth, except for, like 1 out of 10 people are a Dire Lord, so it's not really that mythical anymore. It's stupid
Details.
lore. Right.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's essentially an essence stealer. You're pretty much life tapping, if you guys are familiar with that from EQ.
Mm-hmm.
Stealing others' essences to keep yourself healed.
Mastering the crippling power of fear.
Yes. So, Kazakh Thul, anyone? Just saying.
Yep.
With some ability to manipulate the very essence of their enemies.
It should be a tank / utility class. It looks fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I say that until they nerf it, and then, we'll see what happens.
Cloth, leather, and mail. Yeah.
It would be fun to be a considerate ogre talking with somebody, and then someone cooks off the short fuse of temper and just go completely belligerent. That could be a lot of fun role.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm pretty much over elves and pretty races, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care. if you play an ogre, you get rid of a lot of the derp and roleplay real quick.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to hang out with you that's in it for the ill-gotten.
Yeah, that worked out real well, didn't it, Sib?
What?
Playing an ogre so people wouldn't hit on you. That works out great every time, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. No, it doesn't. Trust me. If you're a female, it doesn't work.
You make a babylicious looking orc. I'm just saying. She was pretty smoking.
She did make the prettiest orc I've ever seen.
Thanks, Jazz, for backing me out.
You were the prettiest orc I'd ever seen. I don't know how you did it.
I didn't even try. I
walked
had a story in my head.
You walked into the guild bar and it was like, there goes that lady.
Seriously, every person I know in our RP community that has met Voley has been like, she is so freaking hot. I don't know how she did that.
Sharpie tusk, pale as eyes, wondering who's going to be brave enough to go ask her for a drink.
I wanted something that was different, and I had never played an orc before, so.
Well, you did good, kid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She would, for those that don't know Voley, she would break your arm if you try to talk to her. She was literally a warrior. She was almost a Klingon. She was
Especially if you complimented her.
Oh yeah, like I believe my armor got punched in the nose repeatedly. It was what it was. It was worth it.
There was a knockdown, drag out fight that Ericus had to break up on his character Caves and basically drag her out of there because she was wanting to stomp a mud hole in him.
Yeah, she was pretty violent that day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for her, that's a turn on for Trav. So that didn't work.
I was like, oh, she hurts me so horribly. Oh, I hope she
like,
does
I
it
want
again.
her to stop my mud hole.
Oh my god.
Okay. This has gone far enough.
Nursing that bloody nose in the mirror. She hit me just so.
Oh wow!
Wrong.
But yes, ogres look cool. I don't think many people will play them in roleplay.
Yeah, they don't get a lot of love.
They're only gonna play ogres, if they don't want to get laid.
Yeah.
And I don't care about that.
Unless they're a guy, but the girls they won't play girls. They'll only play guys because guys are big and burly, and you know what else is big and burly. So they'll play male ogres for that reason.
Maybe I should play a female ogre then. That'd be hilarious.
There you go. Play a female. Unfortunately, you'll probably get hit on just like her.
Yeah.
Oh, and that'd be fun because then you could troll the mess out. You're not a man.
I think the getting hit on part will be a big problem for the Dark Mirror. The mermaid people, because she's not bad looking.
Yeah, probably.
I can tell you right now who the furries are going to play, who the ERPers are going to play.
There really isn't a true fur. I mean, I assume you mean the Scar, but they're the Scar and the Archie.
I'd say
we're getting the Archies.
Archie, yeah. The
Sorry.
Okay, which one did I have? I picked out for the furries the Archie and the Dark Mer.
You think so? Because the Dark Mer is really more just an alien kind of.
Yeah, but they're underwater and they got stripes and they're kind of cool looking.
Dude, they have a mermaid form.
Yeah, when you mouse
they
over,
have a
she
mermaid
gets a tail.
form, so they're not entirely
human.
Yeah,
but there really isn't.
They're gonna go for those.
There really isn't a. Yeah, I didn't realize there's no fur covered race.
No, there's no fur covered anything in here.
Yeah.
The gnomes might get some furry power. Definitely the Scar and the Archie.
The gnomes, they're definitely.
The gnomes are just creepy looking.
Yeah, they're terrifying.
Let's be real. It'll be an X-Pack, right? When they get some kind of cat race or lizard dude.
Oh, there will be probably.
I had to laugh whenever I saw the mermaid tail because all I could think of was that stupid song that Bargnar sang.
Oh yeah.
And then you did it at one of the.
That's gonna be no end of jokes. You walk into a bar with some mer folks in there, I'd be like, my ogre would be like, "Hey, does it smell like fish in here? Or is it just me?"
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god, you would too.
You're just an ogre. That's right. And boy, it smells like a mackerel factory in here. I'm leaving.
Mackerel factory.
That's hilarious.
Hey, I got to get my inner Gormal out somehow, right?
Something like that, yeah.
What was? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what that. It was. There's a Celtic mermaid song. Was it? No, it wasn't.
It was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, but it was
Something
the how.
Sisters.
Yeah, it's gonna drive me crazy. You go. Okay, you go ahead and go. You're gonna have to find that now.
No, what?
You go. You go ahead and do. You were gonna do.
Oh
what you were
yes.
gonna do, yeah.
I wanted to play a gnome. After I looked at all of them, I'm thinking the gnome just because something I've never.
You're
played.
gonna make a beautiful gnome.
Oh my
People are gonna hit
God.
on you all the fucking time, and I'm
the
going to
thing is-
laugh and laugh and laugh.
The thing is, in the little what it tells about the gnomes. Well, let me read my gnome thing real quick. It is a splendid irony that the smallest of the foreign races contain the most mystery. Perilous in the understanding and wielding of the arcane, the gnomes are beings without true physical form due to events on their home world.
Meticulous.
And easily absorbed in many tasks abroad. Their floating city, Skyhold, diligent and service tend to be the highest known virtue, along with sound innovation. Expansion is not a cultural aim, and the gnomes have no real enemies, but some do long to face the perils and prizes of Terminus. Am I saying that right? Terminus at large.
Yeah.
Okay, and I will say they don't have bodies, so
Yeah,
I was like,
so the outer shell is just like a construct to withhold
Yeah.
their essence.
Which is why the furries will be drawn to it
Yeah.
again, because it's not entirely.
it's more like an inner light. Like there was
Yeah,
a
it's-
paragraph
you know
that I
what-
was reading.
You know what it is, sweetie?
What?
They're the Vorlons from Babylon 5, where they have this is their encounter suit, and
Ooh.
you're a being of energy on the inside. That's your Vorlons.
Well, I was reading this. It's like the second to last paragraph, and it kind of says what happened. You know, they either had to abandon their mortal flesh or perish due to what their race went through. So I thought it was a neat thing. I mean, I've never played a gnome. Most gnomes are not cool looking.
Well, they have those big old honking noses, and they look
Yeah.
like little old men, and they're not.
And I thought this one was
goofy
really
looking.
cool. I mean, and they're a small race.
Yeah, apparently,
And
you hear
so-
that, Uni? You wouldn't be the smallest. These are even smaller than the halflings.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. They're dead.
But no, I haven't really got to think of a lot of the lore for her.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to do a lot more reading.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a neat race. That I instantly was drawn to compared to the other ones. I mean, if I had a second choice, it would probably be, I hate to say it, an ogre.
Yes! Yes!
But I-
Come help me siege everyone.
But I would honestly go with what was the class I was looking at? Let me switch over because I was looking at the classes.
Yeah, they can
And
be enchanters, necromancers,
it was the
rogues,
enchanter.
summoner, and wizard.
Because I like the small little summary of what the enchanter was. Through a single word, the enchanter can turn the intent of an enemy and break even the strongest of wills into submission. I was like,
EQ1.
"Hell
Tough. EQ1.
But no, I thought that would be fun. I actually was, while everybody was doing their story, I was kind of looking at names, and I did find one that I really liked. It's I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it right, but I'll pronounce it how I want to pronounce it. It's Zyzel for a gnome. Zyzel.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But I actually went to the gnome generator and was just flicking through it. And whenever I do a
Cool.
name, it can come from anywhere. Like when I created Sib Bay, I deliver Mel, and somebody's last name was Bay, Bae, and I thought that's kind of a neat name. And then I can't remember where I saw Sib, but I was like, you know what, that fits perfectly together. So then that became my Twi'lek in
Yep. I
Star Wars: The
remember
Old Republic. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's how I came up with her. But no, it just whatever kind of sticks out at me.
Mm-hmm.
It could be fun.
No, that's where I I've decided to go with it. And
Yeah.
like I said, I don't know a lot about the race. I don't know, wouldn't have a backstory. I just kind of have to. A lot of my backstories, though, I get bare bones, and then I just kind of, as the game goes along, I build it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. See,
kind of what I'm gonna do with the
Kinda
ogre
what I
because I
do,
don't know the
too.
game lore. Like, if I knew
Yeah.
the game lore more, I would come up with a backstory. I don't have one, so I'm like, well, let's just see what
Yeah.
the newbie quest.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
I would kind of do. But I know, like on Star Wars, The Old Republic, I knew a lot about it, so I knew whenever I went into that game, Sib was going to be a smuggler.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I wanted. She was going to be. I loved the anime. What was those? The little animation cinematics.
Yes, the cinematics are still
Loved the smuggler on there. He was
fucking
so
amazing. Yeah.
Yes, he was so cool. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a smuggler. So just kind of went with that. So it would just take me, you know, like Strafay said, running the little newbie quest and finding out, you know, where I wanted to go,
Yeah, and
where I wanted to come from.
and learning the lore a little bit more.
Mhm.
So, all right. Well, and for me, I wanted to do a dwarf, but then seeing the classes, like, let's see, bard, cleric, boring. I don't like cleric. Like, bard is typically like it's not one I care for just because it's usually a utility class. They don't have details for bard since it's a stretch goal. Cleric, don't like healing. Enchanter, don't like being support, like crowd control support. Paladin, not really big on tanks. Rogue would be about the only one, and I've done so many rogues. And warrior, again, tank. So
You didn't read your little paragraph.
yeah, I know I haven't got that, but that's why I'm like still gonna read it. But I actually think because of the classes, I don't think I would pick the dwarf unless I
If
needed
you
another
play
class.
a dwarf, bro, I will totally play one with you. I'll be a cleric. I'll be a paladin. I kind of want to like an alt to play a buddy with, like a dwarf.
If I did, it'd have to be warrior or rogue because I just don't like. Yeah, I'm not a paladin kind of guy.
So you could be a dirty thief, and I could be like the healer that's like your buddy that doesn't know he's getting stolen from.
Yeah, and see, that kind of thing. That might be what I would go for if I had a reason for it. But just by it's like in a void, if I was creating this like all on my own, I don't think I think I would have to switch to one of the other races. But I will read what the dwarves have. Let's see, because they were the first one of the first races that came on as Terminus. Apparently, it says here. So, for the good of his people, the dwarven king Kazaz sacrificed his immortality to rule among them in the winter fortress of Kadasa. This selflessness is a crown virtue of the dwarven race, and to have one as a friend is worth more than several lifetimes of fortune, because we're loyal. Believing peace is a product of strength, Ronald Reagan. The dwarves seek not an empire, but to increase their mastery of smithing, the arcane, as well as battle. Their compact form is rarely mistaken for lumbering stiffness, as their reputation in all types of conflict is widely established. So, kind of typical dwarf stuff, but apparently they were one of the first ones created, and their god, unlike a lot of the others, it's just like, here, you're created. Good luck! He stuck around, sacrificed his immortality,
Kind of like
and
Crom,
became their king. Yeah. So, that's cool and all, but not crazy about the and that's one of those things with a lot of these games. Like ESO, you just mash anything. You basically just mash anything you want together.
Could you do that again, please?
And create whatever you want.
Thank you.
So now I gotta have to look now, seeing because of what you put up, that the dwarves, how limited they are in their stuff. Let's see. So let's go with the Archai, the Archies, as I like to call them. They're actually very unique looking, but I've seen them in game. They almost, in seeing it now, it's obviously their skin, but in the game they look almost sci-fi, really, because they've got like glowing lines through their bodies. It's kind of a weird design, but it's kind of neat at the same time. And they got weird bony things sticking out of their forehead, and then their hair comes out of that. They
kind of reminds me of it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say they're kind of. I think they kind of look like they'd be the like dark elves of this game almost. What were you gonna say?
Oh, Delin popped into my head whenever you said they had like a bony.
Yeah.
bony thing growing out of their head and the hair growing out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. It's just reversed. Instead of being behind it, it's in the front. It's a forehead bone, not a back head bone. So let's see. So the Archai say that they are on a spectrum of uniqueness. The Archai comes second only to their neighbor gnomes. So I guess those two are their buddies. But in sharp contrast, the culture of the Suroa is a vibrant and strong as the massive crystals and ores of its geology. Devout and sincere Archai bodies manifest their environment, their ethereal energy bonding with natural elements of at a very young age. This permits the Archai to grow a bit larger than a human or elf, but not suffer in agility quite like an ogre. Loving celebration and battle almost equally, the Archai are positioned well to ascend in the frail age, should they choose. They actually kind of have, there's only 3 other paragraphs on these guys. They really don't have a lot of lore, do they?
They don't.
They don't have a lot of classes to choose from either.
No.
Maybe they're just mysterious, right?
Well, they've got 6, but the only reason I was looking at these monk, yeah.
Yeah, when I saw that one on there, I was like, yep.
Oh, it looks like Xanis. Okay, I know the score now.
Well,
we're done.
And the other one was because the other one that could be monk is, other than human, of course, is the Dark Mirror, the mermaid people, and the Scar, which Scar is out. I'm not playing a weird bony looking dude, but the Dark Mirror kind of looked interesting too, and they're the mermaid ones. Let's see.
You don't want to be a primitive elite though, Ashton?
A what?
Yeah,
like an elite from Halo.
Oh, no, I'm good.
These guys apparently they were created basically by eating another race.
Nice.
Well, I mean,
I hadn't got that far.
That's kind of metal. That's kind of metal.
Yeah.
When you're hungry, right, Ashton?
That's right.
So who's gonna read the Dark Mirror?
Dum. Who? Yeah. Someone want to read Dark Mirror?
Who has a Dark Mirror?
I'll do it.
Jazz.
Or Jazz will do it. That's even better.
I don't think I have a Dark Mirror. Let me look.
Oh, you didn't? Oh.
No, I didn't have a Dark Mirror.
You
Man.
made 8 people, and the one you didn't make was Dark Mirror.
Yeah, because I didn't like most of them. Mine are human.
Oh.
I didn't make the mermaid people because I wasn't even sure if they were going to walk on land. So I was I ain't doing no water surfing thing. Thanks, Little Mermaid can be with somebody else.
You know somebody's gonna name one Ariel, right?
Yeah, of course they are.
Ariel. Yeah, there's gonna be like XX Ariel.
8,000 of them in different ways of spelling it. Yeah, there'll be an Ariel, Ariel. It'll all be
I'll read it if you want.
Because they can't resist.
I'll only be impressed
about
when I
Flounder?
See a male one named Scuttles. Yeah, Scuttles. I want a Scuttles.
No, Flounder, and then Sebastian.
I'll read it.
Okay.
You give them an inch.
Go, Sir Faye. Go.
Out of their own way, the Dark Mirror of Sironai would perhaps become a contemporary of Thronefast, even its chief rival. But their native beauty, valor, and nobility have rusted down to bitter ornaments. A vast disdain for other races lurks beneath their tranquil surfaces. Calling none friend and few honored as foes, their ferocity in battle is as ancient as their herald origin. While they're all, with their tall, slender form and ghostly eyes, cast an unmistakable presence, Dark Mirror ambitions are a pregnant mystery. Why are they pregnant? We have no idea. We're just reading these lines. The kingdom quietly advancing on land and sea.
That was a bit of a weird line, a pregnant mystery.
Yeah, it's weird.
Isn't it? Why can't you just be our ambitions are a mystery?
That's why I had to troll it. I'm just saying.
Okay, when he read nobility has rusted down to bitter ornaments, all I could think was, look at my collection. Isn't it complete?
Wouldn't you think my junk collection is complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the race that is the Sea Dark Elves?
Hey.
All I could think was that song. I was like, that's horrible.
It's a dangle hopper.
When she was combing her hair with the fork. I love it. That made me laugh so freaking hard. You just don't know. I just thought that was hilarious.
Coming in 2022. The Little Mermaid, live action.
Hey, I saw that they were talking about doing Melissa McCarthy as Ursula.
Yes, they were. Melissa McCarthy as Ursula.
She would do awesome.
Yeah, she would be a good Ursula. And it's not just because she's hefty.
Oh no, she would freaking.
I know that's what you were going with.
I would really love to see her do that.
You're just fat shaming her.
I'm gonna fat shame you here in a minute. Under boob sweat. There you go.
Dang, the nice one's losing her freaking title.
The nice one has not had a lot of sleep this week and is super tired.
Yeah, she gets ornery, which is spelled with an O.
I gotta say, guys, the Dark Mirror next to the humans can be almost every race class. I think minus 2.
They have quite a few. They just paladin ranger, which is funny because obviously being a ranger when you're a sea creature would probably make sense. As in paladin, ranger, and shaman are the only things they can't be.
Yeah,
but
no, they're the dark elves of the sea, so you know.
Yeah, they kind of seem like they are. I take it back. I thought the Archai kind of looked like it, but from the sound of it, the Dark Mirror are the dark elves.
They actually have more class options than the elves, which I would have thought the elves would have been next to the humans.
No, they're second only to humans. Yeah.
Yeah.
The elves have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
But I have to say, it's kind of a neat. It's kind of a neat class. Not one I would choose, but to have that option of the tell. I mean,
yeah, that is.
I've not seen a game that's done that before.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if that's just like an art thing, or if you go swimming in this game, will they actually transform and not just be like a bloop, you have tail, bloop, you have legs, bloop, you have tail.
Yep.
Hey, when you scroll over it, like you said, and it transforms from legs to tail. And it says underneath, it says water on the tail part. And it says if you move and it's got the legs, it says land.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm betting that's what they're planning.
Yeah. No, it should be that'd be neat. I don't think I've ever seen somebody do an actual transformation of one of the races just based on, if it was swimming. They better, knowing these guys, I bet you they would probably have a huge bonus to swimming because these are the ones that created the original swimming into a wall so that you can get your speed swimming up.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Remember that back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Just I think I went to not Calethin. What was the high elf city? Felwith.
Yeah. In the moat.
Yeah, in the moat. I forget what I put on my arrow key because it was before.
A small rock.
Yeah.
There you go.
And just swam, made sure I was pointing up so I didn't drown myself and just swam into a wall and walked away for a couple hours.
You just had to hit number lock and you would auto run, so you just had to angle it just so you wouldn't jump out and you wouldn't get out of the water or drown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I totally did that. I taped down my left arrow key and went for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would just swim in a circle.
Yeah, because if you didn't, your swimming was so slow.
Yeah, oh, no, it was necessary.
Oh, it was awful. But no, the mer people seem like a possible thing. Because I will say, I do like playing the aloof races and stuff like that, which is why I'm always a fan of dark elves. Even though I never play a dark elf like an actual dark elf, but this one I might actually give that a shot. And let's see, do it like as a monk again. They got the monks in here, so which is kind of cool. I can
dark mirror monk.
Mm-hmm.
That could be neat.
Yeah,
I'm the ninja of the waves.
Yeah, and of course all of this would depend on. I think the caveat for all of us is, well, what do they look like once we get to character creation?
Yeah, that's gonna be it right there. I mean, it's nice to see art, but what are they gonna look like in game? Because they're making it sound like it's like some throwback to EQ1.
Right.
And
I mean, this looks
it's
like
gonna
a mirror,
be blocky like that. No.
Oh
thanks.
no. The actual.
No, it won't be that.
No. Let me see here. No, I definitely know it's actually. Visually, it looks. It's not quite like like crazy these days, but it doesn't look. It doesn't look like that. When they say it's more of a throwback, they're meaning more like in the.
You may already know by now that
game mechanics.
Yeah.
And okay, so here, I'll post this up for.
Well,
if I had to venture a guess,
at some of these, and they look. The graphics look like Star Wars.
It does have It does.
It's gonna be that stylized art style from like Old Republic.
Yeah, it's a little
maybe.
stylized there. I put a video up in our Discord chat for anybody curious.
Because it doesn't look like ESO. The caricatures are more blocky than I would expect.
The animation is still extreme. I mean, they're not even quite in alpha yet, so the animations are still fairly stiff. But then again, when they created Vanguard, their animations were some of the worst parts of that game.
Oh, that's why I didn't
well.
play Vanguard, was because of how it looked.
Yeah,
I couldn't. I'm such a snob.
Yeah, visually, like the visuals of it, the graphics looks very passable to me. It'll just be a matter if they can smooth out some of the animations, which, given where they're at, it's you can't. I know we always say you can't judge too harshly on these times. A lot of times, unfortunately, it ends up being, well, actually, yes, I could have, but you still have to give.
Because it looks like EQ2 to me. It doesn't look any different than EQ2.
It does look, it looks like EQ2 on a more modern engine, which is what Unity would be.
So kind of like a wannabe Skyrim with some tour artwork, maybe.
Yeah.
And the characters. That's what it looks like, man.
Okay, no, there's these two guys in this video.
Uh-huh.
They're standing in that exact EQ1 position.
Yes.
Where, like, you would stand there, legs apart
legs
a little
slightly
bit,
apart,
and like,
arms off
and
to the
your
side.
arms like,
and they're holding their weapons. They're just standing there holding their weapons. Yeah, that's a bad sign.
Yeah. But again, that's why we're using this game, because it's all there is that isn't already out, and it's a bleak landscape for the genre right now. I meant to look that. I'll have to look this up for next week. But I heard somebody, I can't remember his name now. But he's somebody that does a lot of videos on MMOs, and he did a recent video on why the genre of MMOs, whether it's a failing genre or if it's just in a rut. And I think he leaned towards the rut. But I'd be curious to see. It sounded like they fell a lot in line to what we're thinking of when we did our history of MMO episode, and things were just they just got samey, and I think the end result was that it's not just the devs that are to blame, but it's us as players as well, because so many on such a massive scale just accept it and play it regardless of how garbage it might be.
Well, yeah.
And then, and we want it all, so many want it handed to you instead of working towards it. It changed how everything works.
I was posting up some pictures from the in-game images.
Yeah.
I was just pulling them off the
website.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it looks visually, at least in stills.
Okay, those dwarves look really blue.
Hold up. Can I be those green trolls? Oh my goodness.
No.
I want to be Gormal. I can't have.
I bet you. I wonder if those are you think those are orcs? Those have got to be the orcs.
They might be.
Yeah.
Those are
trolls.
Those are NPCs. So.
Right, but not ogres, orcs.
Orcs, yeah. They might be orcs, I suppose.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe. Dang it, man. I don't want to be a troll.
They're green.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but you never know. They look orky to me. The reason I say that is because look at the loincloth. They have the same loincloth the orcs in EverQuest had.
Yeah.
And that's like all that there was.
You're absolutely right. They're like freaking Death Fist orcs,
they're just
bro.
slightly green instead of like whitey. Yeah, and there's
Death Fist orcs.
That one looks, I guess, is that a halfling? I guess in the one with the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking.
Okay.
But no, I just on the About Us.
They had a lot of pictures.
Or no, overview. Somewhere in here, I found pictures and stuff.
They got shit somewhere.
That human.
In the media, if you look in the media, you can go to the images and you can get videos out of the in-game images, which is where I went to.
Yeah.
That human face looks like an upgraded Oblivion face. I'm just saying.
It really just looks kind of backwards to me, but I mean, it's also still an alpha.
Right.
So.
Yeah. It's easy to I hate it. You got to give it the benefit of the doubt. You have to until it's officially out. I mean, what was it? The Ritual of the Night that I've been playing. The art style of it was changed and revamped almost at the last, in video game terms, at the last minute, even though it was already 2 years late. and it was definitely for the better. So you can change that on a massive scale pretty quickly. So you got to be careful. But let's see. So
there you go.
Oh dear God. Oh, is that oof? That one's a little rough.
That's Oblivion.
Oh yeah.
That's an Imperial Oblivion versus the
potato.
So
Pantheon.
it just looks like a slightly upgraded version of
Oblivion. Yeah, you go.
Yeah.
Of the giant. They all had what's that disease that makes people swell up? They all have that in Oblivion.
Oh yeah, they were all stung in Oblivion.
Yeah, it's just like they're all
anaphylaxis.
Yeah, they're all puff. they're just puffy. Everything's puffy. That's why I think I didn't finish Oblivion. I hated the way it looked. And when I say I didn't finish it, I think I played 2 hours and regretted buying it. And then Skyrim changed my mind. So, okay, so we haven't read on the elves, because they are, super hot, Liv Tyler looking elves. So we got that going for us. It says the elves with loyalty that is not easily won or lost. See how that works? Elves carry an immortal sense of how fleeting life is, born of their own brushes with total extinction. But far more than frail survivors, they are unrivaled artists from architecture to agriculture, with arcane and physical prowesses as natural as the wind, rain, and storm. Sibling hearts divide the race into 2 distinct groups. Ashen elves. I like that one. Steward Fairy Tale Farfanugan from within.
Farfanugan.
Farthale. Farthale? Steward Farthale. Sure. Farfanugan it is. Eternally vigilant in watch and guard, and their Ember brethren cast an aggressive eye towards the surrounding lands, rooting out evil where it resides. So you got the Ashen and the Ember elves. That's kind of cool. Obviously, there's a reason I like that, but it's just because,
Ashen elf, monk, and then your world's complete, bro.
Let's see here. I lost my... Where's my little thingy? Let's see. So the elves can not be a monk. So yeah, they can be a ranger. That's the first way they can be a ranger. That
you're just gonna die. Like you're the sacrificial ranger.
Yeah, I've played a ranger though, so I mean I'm used to it. I go in there, I shoot an arrow, I pull the boss back towards the group, and then I cheer them on from the ground.
Hide behind the tank.
That's right. Well, I mean,
at his feet.
At his feet, being trampled as they actually do the rest of the work. But
I
pulled it for them, and without me, this would not be possible. Sorry, I had the hiccups there. So no, the elves are. I mean, they're elves. Yeah, I mean they're elves. They're cool looking, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I foresee lots of Elven and Darkmere babies in roleplay.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
my goodness.
of intermarriage.
I'm half mermaid, so I don't have to be having all those restrictions, but I can have a tail. Look.
All wrong with Ashen, his ranger, and his monk, and my ogre will be like, "Hey,
you know it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I know this. I am so cynical at this point, but I'm gonna have that conversation with someone in that game.
Ashen." My ogre will roll up to your monk and be like, "Hey, he sure got himself some tail, didn't he?"
Oh.
Ba-jing, Shut up, Thronk. Hey, I'm just saying what everybody's thinking.
You know what? It's funny here because it's the first time it's been done. About 2 months into the game, when everybody is doing the tail jokes,
it's gonna be old.
It'll be so. It'll be cringy. It'll almost be one of those things. It's like, / ignore. Okay, well, moving on. We don't have to see that guy anymore. It looks like last we didn't go over the scar, which is scar. Someone want to read the scar? Or you want me to do it?
I'll do it.
Yeah, damn right you will. About time you did something around here. Go for it, bro.
If there was an opposite to any good thing in evil race, the scar would stand alone in their extreme suicidal viciousness, tribal and short-sighted. The Scar fear only the ninth god, or the nine god. Ninth or nine? We get that confused.
9! It's the 9 god!
The god 9. Okay, thank you, God.
No.
Thank you, High Ordinator. And they're fervent only to their hatred, a ravenous desire to consume fits with their thin, predatorial size and builds, and they attack to overwhelm quickly, lacking exponential endurance. Their role on the stage of Terminus has the most uncertainty, for their battles rage as much within Skargal as outside it. And stay tuned, in 1,000 years, we will start getting darker in voice. We will get armor, and we will start serving this alien race called the Covenant, and we will exterminate all humans. La, da, 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 da. But fear not, the Arbiter will make friends with Master Chief, and all will be made well.
I love Master Chef.
Master Chef.
You know who's in that armor, don't you? Gordon fucking Ramsay.
That's right.
Gordon Ramsay was Master Chef all along. They were just pronouncing it wrong this whole time. That's why he's
These
9
guys
feet
are pretty
tall.
much the hated all race, right?
Yeah,
these
these are the true dark elf kind of, but without the look of it, or they're the Klingon evil bad guys. Which means, of course, there'll be plenty of people role-playing them as, oh, well, I'm proper. I'm not like the rest of my species.
Oh, of course.
I am a different type.
Pinky out.
I'm a good guy. No, you're
Pinky
not.
out when in doubt.
My goodness. But hey, it's kind of neat idea.
Right.
It's the XR of EQ1 all over again.
Yeah, they basically,
hated by everyone.
they're the XR. Yeah, that's because it is, again, it's the guys that did EverQuest 1. So this is, let's see if we can do a point-by-point comparison. So we got the Darkmere are the Dark Elves. The Dwarves are, we'll figure that one out later.
The Dwarves are the Cold Dane expansion, bro.
Yeah.
Blue Dwarves.
Basically, yeah, they are. And they are all blue. Even that, what you put up, Sib, the dwarf is like blue.
Oh, yes.
He looks like he's been holding his breath in a frozen lake for quite some time.
Just scroll up. I even put a Cold Dane up there from EQ1.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was a little shocked how blue they actually look.
Yeah, and I think
that was an in-game photo.
Yeah, and the Archai seemed like they'd be the High Elves, maybe. Manifest their freedom and celebrate in battle, kind of. Let's.
What if they're like made by the gnomes? The gnomes just didn't say nothing about it.
Yeah, could be. Yeah,
maybe sneaky.
Darkmere, dark elves, ogres, humans. Halflings really. The halflings are more like they're like a cross between halfling with size, but with the wood elves, like I've said.
You know what they reminded me of was like if you were to mix the halfling and the elves, they reminded me of the plant race on Guild Wars.
Yeah.
What was that? I can't think of the name of it.
They were called the Planty McPlantface.
What? Now I have to go look it up.
I don't remember the plant race.
I don't either.
What?
In
the plant race
Guild Wars 2.
Wars 2.
Oh, and see, if you hadn't said it, I've been able to tell you. God damn it.
You asked why.
I'm looking it up real quick.
Yeah, I was like, you're going to have to look it up because now it's going to bug me.
Almost there. The Sylvari.
The Sylvari.
Yeah. That's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, they are.
Those.
Yeah.
They're definitely pinging on that.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and obviously elves, gnomes, Scar would be the Ixar from, if we're going off of EverQuest stuff, that seems like kind of what they recreated here. So if I had to, in the end, I probably, at this point, I think I would go with a Darkmere monk. Probably name them Monkey McMunkface. Scuttles.
Call him Fish Slop.
Name him Scuttles.
Scuttles.
His name shall be Ashelonius, and whatever you name your last name, Soul, whatever.
Soul
whatever you name yourself. Yeah, there you go. So you always do a derivation, right? I've noticed that.
Well, I usually have an X, and usually Soul is in the last name somewhere. That's the the big takeaway I do.
So it'll be Ashen owns your face, Soul pwn your nut, pwn your foe. Yeah, pwn your foes. I don't know.
Yeah,
XXX.
that's right.
XX376.
Yeah, Leet. Leet Dude. No, I'm just gonna do Leet Dude.
Hey, you could go back to the classic and be Son Goku.
Son Goku, that's right.
There you go,
Actually,
bro.
I think it
You're
was
the original.
Goku. I think I did Goku Son. So.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. What was that, Sib?
I was gonna say I was reading just like a little paragraph about the game. Actually, what they're, basically what you guys were saying it was supposed to be like.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't understand how it won't be role player friendly with all the it's basically a group forming game.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it really
so
it is.
I don't understand how they cannot. I mean, I'm going to just read this little thing real quick because it's got me fascinated. It says Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is considered to be a spiritual successor to classical MMOs such as EverQuest and Vanguard, and will promptly feature a PvE-centric design with plans for at least one PvP server at launch. Pantheon focuses on challenging content and the social aspects of gameplay, such as grouping in guilds, making friends, and earning a reputation in the community. I don't see where they can, even if they say they are not going to cater to our peers, I still think it's going to be a game that might do that, actually.
Yeah, well, and you have to remember too, just because he's only the guy that said that, Brad McQuaid. He's one of the most well known of all these, but he's only one dude. Like he's a chief creative officer.
Yes, yeah, he's mentioned in this article.
Yeah.
We've had this problem in every game we've ever been in. If there's anything that I've learned is that when you have one person voicing that, you've got three that agree. They just didn't say anything. And games that do not pointedly plan on housing, pointedly plan on RP friendly type things, they're not going to do anything about griefing. They're not going to do anything about harassment. They're not going to do anything to promote like having houses and things like that.
Yeah.
It never ends well. So when he said that, I just chucked.
Yeah, and you know what sucks too, because I read the same. Because I think we both. I don't remember which one of us read it and passed it on to the other. And I've tried to find that article where that was.
No, it's
quoted,
gone. They yanked it almost immediately.
Yeah, it's been ghosted everywhere. I cannot. I looked.
No, there's absolutely nothing left. The podcast that it was on when he said it is gone. They
and even the articles,
everything.
And there was articles about it, and I can't find
because they got a lot of blowback from that immediately.
Yeah.
As I told
a lot
Jazz,
of people were pissed.
As I told Jazz, this game going out the gate for the role players like us is just going to be a grief fest right out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it'll be like EQ1 where the role players had to go actually out in the world, like an obscure place to hang out and do their deal because then even they got grief when they got found and they had to move
a lot of games
hideout.
are like that for us, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
now.
I know.
I mean,
but I'm not like
anywhere in the gaming, world and not get grief from role players. I mean, so holy crap, they gave him mud balls.
That's true. Or AOC where they gave them the ability to pee on people.
Yeah.
Remember that? And vomit,
yeah.
like literally vomit. And they only pulled it because they got sued. And they finally pulled it. But,
I did post a picture real quick in the chat that looks like a housing picture. I'm going to cross my fingers. But no,
that's totally a guild hall.
But
in the world, that's probably the Paladins Guild or something, or Wizards Guild or something. You go to get trained.
I'm sorry, Jazz. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to throw that up there.
Yeah, he just said it's a dungeon.
It's a dungeon.
But,
or that.
I mean, every game in existence that's an MMO could easily accommodate role players simply by making copies of zones they've already created and allowing role players to have access to it as houses. It would be very easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because they put that furniture in there.
Yeah, it's all it's all assets, and it's just various assets, and it's just a matter of making a.
But them saying
system.
They're not going to cater is they don't have plans to do a housing instance to put playable furniture in there, and they'd have to develop it. And if they're just trying to launch the game, they're just probably trying to launch the game, right?
Yeah,
and then they'll probably try to later.
And going off the pledges, it is largely. I know they have money. They actually have money backers, but it's also kind of like Star Citizen. It's done by players as well. It's a combination. It's that new, unfortunate combination that the video game industry is getting out of people, and whether
look,
you get something or
you
not.
found something.
Well, yeah, I did some looking. He talked about Brad McQuaid. Talked about alternate rule sets, including potentially a role play server.
He had to eat his hat.
Well, good.
But
somebody spanked him about that.
On the forums, people were asking, where is the interview where he said, they wouldn't cater to role players, and apparently it was an interview with Boogie2988, who is this guy, and I don't know if it's this particular video, but this is an interview with Brad McQuaid. I didn't watch it, obviously.
Right,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, that's all I could find out. That's all I could find on it.
Yeah.
Because the thing I watched is no longer there. It is gone.
Yeah, and that's fine. If he's, if he had to
he's
change
his
tune,
hat
that's
and he's
great.
taken his back, then that's fine. I just, it completely cost them my following at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not, and is this $15? They make you pay for forum access too?
Yeah, they make you pay for everything.
Yeah, I'll pass on that. I guess if it's the beta forums, no, I'd still pass on that. I'm not doing them a favor, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Testing your game on my time, I don't do that to pay. I don't pay to
test your games.
Yeah, that's
I did
that's
that
a very unfortunate thing that the video game industry is getting in, is with these people paying in advance to play a game that is not, if you're getting the full game, that's fine. When it finally releases, like the Friday the 13th game was, people play, but it wasn't quite ready. People bought it in full and they could still play it even its testing phase, and they when it released, they got the whole thing still too, so that's fine. But just paying a monthly subscription to beta test and beyond that sucks. But unfortunately, it's a lot of modern industry is they're pulling.
This is what happens, right?
Yeah.
If you're not EA, you have to fund your game somehow.
Yeah.
And there you go. That's what they're doing.
But and the gameplay is wise, actually. I'm ADD. What you guys were saying earlier about this being group based was, I actually watched. This was probably a year and a half ago now. But I actually watched them go through, it was like an hour-long video of them going through a dungeon, and it really was, like, everything was kind of, it wasn't the steamroller that it is in, like, ESO and a lot of these things, unless you're doing, like, the veteran modes and stuff like that. It actually required, like, all right, this guy's over here, if we pull this one, it required strategy and thinking ahead, and you couldn't just steamroll through that.
So it's like taking an enchanter to lower Guck so you can crowd control the whole rush of frog rocks coming around the corner.
It really, when they say it plays its spiritual successor to EverQuest, you can't just roll through things. If you're going in there and the dungeon requires a group of, I forget what it was, I think it was 5 people. I don't know what their actual number was, but if it requires a group of 5, that group of 5 has to actually work together. You can't just sorry, my dog pedaled and I left for half the dungeon. That if that one guy does that while his dog's hacking,
that kind of makes me smile, Ashton, because I remember the old days.
Well, and there is definitely something to that. I do enjoy that when it's done well, and if they do it well, that'll be fun. And if it's done poorly and you just get there also has to be a modern day thing. If you get face rolled constantly, people these days, the WoW style players and the ESO and I don't know if I have that kind of time for something that is. I know I don't have the time for something that's old school not World of Warcraft, EverQuest 2 or EverQuest 1.
You don't want to go on a corpse run because you bound yourself in Freeport and have to run all the way to Lord Guck.
I don't have that kind of time anymore, man. It's just.
It's brutal days.
I gotta be in bed. I gotta work tomorrow now. I don't. My job doesn't start at 10:00 in the afternoon like it used to. So, but no.
Back in our day, we bound in a city 6 zones away, and we liked it.
And we lost all our armor, and we were happy for it.
Yeah,
but actually,
and if you missed the boat, you had to wait another hour or swim like crazy after it.
Yeah, that's right. Buy your fishing bait, kids, because she's gonna be there for a while.
Yep. Watch out for the Cyclops under the dock. Just looking for that little muscly arm adventurer. Mm-hmm.
Loading, please wait. You have died.
Get your piggly ass over here, you fat son of a bitch.
3 hours later, you got your corpse back. Yeah, and it was. Ooh.
Yeah, or if you de-leveled in a dungeon or something that was not a dungeon, a raid zone.
Oh, that yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me go get my level back with none of my gear.
Hire a necromancer. So, pay him for the coffin because he's gonna have some of your bones.
Yeah, but in the end, I mean, that's kind of how the process tends to work, at least for us.
Okay, I did find a little something. I know it's Gamepedia, Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, on the housing. That's the only thing I could find where it said anything about it, but it basically said no, they weren't.
Yeah.
That was not a thing that they would actually go, have at launch or even attempt to have at a launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not even going to attempt it. And
yeah.
I mean, ESO said the same thing initially.
Yeah. Because I think it does take a lot. It's not so much it takes a lot of resources in, I think, servers and stuff. Because you have to load a lot of them.
It says it's like 6.4. Housing isn't currently a planned release feature.
Yeah.
Implementing housing properly is a big deal. We don't want instant housing or open world housing where urban sprawl takes half the world and people can't find a place to make their home.
Final Fantasy 14, I'm looking at
We are looking at potentially implementing ideas that affect gameplay, such as outposts that guilds can create an area appropriate to their level, and other players can visit their outpost. When outposts are complete, similar to the Wild West, the guilds can retrieve their wagons and belongings and move their outposts.
So, you know what I think?
It sounds like they got plans for it, just not at launch.
It says, again, this idea would be post-launch feature,
Yeah, maybe, you know what I think, Ashen? They should learn something from SWG that had freaking huge planetscapes. Yeah, but you got a huge zone like North Corona or whatever and just plop your house.
Yeah, I think that I wonder if these days it's just the amount of, what was it they were just saying?
Urban sprawl?
No, Cyberpunk 2077 is the download is 3 times the size of The Witcher 3, which if you played The Witcher 3 was like over 100 gigs. So this game, I mean, the games these days, they're just fucking massive because the more, I need to tell you, the higher res the textures and now things are 4K, that stuff takes a massive amount. And then the servers on top of that the server farms.
They do.
That's not cheap. So to do it properly, it definitely seems like it's the best way to go about it is to make sure that your game is solid, and then later on you can add extra equipment into it.
Yeah, they dev to the lowest computer standards. So but
that's you too.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the reason. So because they want a wide audience. Mm-hmm. Of course, they'll have graphical settings to make everything look great. But with Cyberpunk 2020, there is a move to push back to do the next gen tech and just build a game because by the time they got it out, it should be standard or high end, and then eventually it'll just be standard, right?
Right. Yeah.
But in their case, it's probably they're shooting for the lowest.
Yeah, you got to be able to make it. It's not do the folly of EverQuest 2. It's like this game is programmed to look great on a system that won't exist for 10 years, except we didn't optimize shit, so it's going to look exactly the same 10 years from now and run exactly the same. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Yeah, I still remember when you fucking said that.
Farms does remember.
Oh, I remember all that shit. I remember your bullshit promises. And you still have a fucking memory leak from release, so...
They also
went from... a lot to read up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also went from... And we're talking about EQ2 in this little vein. They also went from, hey, we're going to make it look super realistic to, well, let's just make things look like WoW. And you guys look at those last couple expansions before we quit? I'm just saying...
Yeah, they got... Well, and they just...
Way stylized.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, I think they have the janitor and one hamster left actually developing for that. So after Daybreak Game, when Daybreak Games took over, they hundreds of, I think over 100 people were left.
My mom's still playing it, and
so.
she's still raiding, and I don't know how that game is still going, but it's going.
Well, it's kind of like, like the Star Wars: The Old Republic. You had over 100 servers at launch. It's down to 5. Two of them are U.S. The other 3 are European-based for some reason.
True story.
So, I mean, you went from 100 servers to 5, and yeah, given these servers could probably handle more than those first servers could from 5 years ago, but they can't handle that many more. You've lost hundreds of thousands of players. That's typically how it goes these days.
Yep.
Unfortunately. So, all right, well.
I think if I was playing alt, I would definitely be a dwarf paladin or cleric.
Yeah.
Just be fun.
I think I'm definitely... I lean towards the dwarf just because I like to play the dwarf, but it'd probably be a rogue, but I've played rogues so often. Given I've played a monk before too, but I've only played like one monk, and they're fun, and I like being a dark mirror. And being a dark monk, I guess, would be kind of neat. I'd be like, be like anybody that Jet Li fights against in every one of his movies. I'd be that guy instead of being Jet Li. Or like the opposite of Jackie Chan.
Bro, you could totally be a dwarf enchanter and do crowd control. How does that even work?
Look at my beard.
Look as it flows.
Look at my glistening beard. It's shiny. Yeah, don't look at them. Look at the beard. Look at the braid work.
You call that a braid, you wee girl? Let me show you how to braid a beard. That is glorious. Oh, my goodness. See, you got it nice and tight. You got to... No, see, you got to use the proper beads to make a braid look great. Get out of my swamp!
That was perfect.
But all right, well that was fun. Probably a little chaotic, a little weird. I don't know. Hopefully it translates well. If you haven't heard of Pantheon, apparently like Whoopdini hadn't even heard of it, which I can't imagine that's going to be a great thing for them. But I am skeptical. I have to be. We've been fucked over so many times in the last 5 years with MMOs. I want this to be a good and great game, and I want it to re-establish my love of MMOs. I just can't. I can't get my hopes up anymore. I've been hurt.
Would you
before.
say the thrill is gone?
I've been hurt. Strafe.
I know.
Hurt too many times.
I know, bro.
And I can't trust again.
It's a true story.
You're gonna have to earn my trust. What was that, Jess?
My child ninja'd into my office and was standing right behind me.
Oh, hi, child.
We're all professionals here on RPMMO Radio. Total professionals.
Not on the drive. Anywhere else but the drive, but not the drive. Where it is fine.
This has been Parenting Hour with Jazzy
Oh
B.
my God. Turn around right there. Scared the living shit out of me.
That's a dubious clap. Oh my goodness.
That was Ashen's dubious clap.
Oh my goodness. That's a rare one.
Yeah. Punch him, Jazz. Hit him right in his squeedly spooch.
Don't do it, Jazz. Don't listen to him.
All right. Okay, enough of this craziness. I'm turning the music on. So, appreciate everybody.
Good night,
tuning in.
everybody.
Good night.
Hopefully, hearing the creative process, if you want to call it that, as we learned about a game we really probably should have done more research on, but that's,
I did.
Somewhere. Except for Jazz, who's gonna virtue signal how great she is at research.
I totally am.
Virtue signaling virtue and virtueness. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Remember, you can join us twitch.tv/RPMO Radio. Follow, subscribe, like, whatever. I don't know how that all. I don't know how any of this works anymore. I've got no idea. Of course, podcast over iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, whatever your favorite Android version of that is. And you can't join us on a Discord server, rpmradio.com/Discord. We see people join. Sometimes they join and they don't say anything. Don't be shy. It's okay. We won't hurt you. Or
well,
we
can't speak for Ashen. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a howdy. I've said hi to everybody pretty much that comes in, at least the first time.
Don't say it like that.
Howdy.
No, I'll give you a howdy.
I will give you a howdy. I'll howdy you all night long.
I don't want to know, bro.
All right, enough of this silliness. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody on my crew, Jazz Sib, Strafei, Yunfei. You guys are awesome. I am Ashen Phoenix, and with that, we are out. Peace!
The thoughts and opinions of those on RPM Radio are just that and should not be taken as the gospel truth. Or should it? Music, as always, is provided by Husky by the Geek. Visit him at youtube.com/HuskyByTheGeek to hear all his great video game rock covers and original music.